Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bolt City podcast, courtesy of Odyssey. Dave Palet, Josh Palet, Mario Herron, all talking with you, of course, leading up to the big game on Sunday Night Football again, as it's the Chargers and the Dolphins. And there's so many big things to talk about in this game and the excitement factor. But there's a history of this game as well. As far as a lot of people say the greatest game ever played in NFL history was the game all the way back in 1982. At the Orange Bowl, where it was the Chargers winning a playoff game in overtime against the Dolphins. It's the game where we've seen it 100 times, Kellen Winslow being helped off the field after he did everything in that game. But that's why I think a lot of people who are Charger fans will say that's the day they fell in love with the Chargers.
Yeah, I wasn't alive then. I was actually years before I was born. So I can't really comment on that situation. But I actually brought that up to my friend. I said, the Chargers and Dolphins have a really historic game. He goes, I don't care. I just care about week 14. That's why you're hard to talk to. That's why you're not a good friend. But I'm excited about this game. I was a little bit pessimistic on the last show about this matchup. But when you get two quarterbacks like Herbert and Tua that have such bright futures and have been played so well in this season, you're excited about the game.
Yeah, Dave, I wish I could sit here and tell you, man, that game was something I'll never forget. But I'd be lying to you. So I was.
Have you guys seen highlights of the game?
I have.
Have you guys seen it? Okay, yeah.
I probably have. Yeah.
You would know.
Yeah.
You would remember. Honestly, you'd remember. Now you guys are making me feel terrible. I'm just telling you right now. The game was insane. I was very young at the time, as much as you guys want to goof on me, but I'm telling you, that's the day there where I was like, oh my God, who's number 80? I got to get a Kellen Winslow jersey. Like, this guy did everything. He blocking extra points, he's blocking field goals, he's catching big time touchdowns. He was sweating and so dehydrated, which is crazy. It's January and everyone else in the country is freezing, yet it was so hot in Miami, everybody was falling apart. And the Chargers jump out to a giant, like 24-0 lead and then give it all up. Of course, they charged it, like you like to say, Mario. And the Dolphins push that game to overtime, and the Chargers pull it out in overtime. And so for me, I'm telling you, as a guy who never lived in San Diego up until that point, boom, I was a Charger fan, and I was following that team to say these guys score a lot of points and a lot of really good athletes. But we'll move forward since you guys don't have zero recall on what happened back in 1982. But this is the game to talk about. There's a reason, guys, they flexed this game to Sunday night, right? It's Justin Herbert, it's Tua. And that's the reason why it's those two guys and why this is a Sunday night game. And, of course, the chances both teams are in the postseason. But let's be honest, it's the two quarterbacks is why they did this.
Absolutely, man. I don't know what the NFL record is for most primetime games. The Chargers have 7 or like 8 this year, which is like crazy. We're like 500.
There's supposed to be an NFL rule of 5, by the way. The rule is supposed to be 5. And then
what's the purpose behind the rule? Why?
Because they did put the Dallas Cowboys in prime time. Yeah. One network would fight for it every single week. And you'd see the Cowboys on Monday or Thursday or Sunday every single week because they get the highest ratings. But that's why they did a limit on 5.
If you were a fan of the NFL, you're watching this game because you're going to see fireworks. Both the Chargers and Dolphins are going to give you some entertainment. The Chargers are a 500 team, but they're really exciting. You're going to see some crazy stuff when you watch the Chargers. Either the coach or the offensive line is going to just do a magician act and not be there the whole game. It'll be crazy. And it's going to be exciting. So I'm looking forward to that.
This is like everything you want for marketing, right? Like you got the Herbert versus Tua. You have that angle. You have Mike McDaniel on the sidelines is going to say something weird, like talking smack about Georgia and Alabama to Tua. You have Herbert, who's the social media quarterback, and then he's going to throw some zip pass. Then Collinsworth is going to go on his PFF spiel about some weird statistic of how Herbert's so good and how Tua is so good. It's a marketing, just everything you want, marketing into the most beautiful stadium in the NFL. Second to that, some would say, was Lucas Oil. That's the only good thing the Colts have in their organization. So I'm looking forward to it. I love Sunday Night Football. Weirdly enough, I enjoy more of our pods like after like late night, Sunday night. I don't know if it's just because like I'm like pretty loopy at that point. I'm like, what I say flies, and when my editing, I'm like whatever says flies. But it makes it more fun. It gets the juices flowing more, and I'm sure for you guys on the West Coast, you guys can sleep in a little bit more, knowing that Chargers football doesn't come till later.
I tell you, to be honest with you, I'm up early. I never miss a game. I mean, I'm one of those guys that is all in on the NFL, and so there are certain teams I love to watch. And obviously, we watch every Charger game, every single play. We break down every little thing that happens with the Chargers. But I found myself for the first time in my life doing that this year with the Dolphins. And yeah, I like offense, as we said. I like to see all the different weapons. I'm amazed at what's happening in Miami as far as the excitement factor. Do I think the Dolphins are Super Bowl championship team this year? No, I don't. I just don't. And we saw it last week when they faced a good 49ers team. But the fact that the Dolphins are going in the right direction and Tua looks like a real quarterback, where all the talk was, is this guy a bust? Will he be released down the road? We all know the talk that Brian Flores lost his job and that they were chasing Deshaun Watson and everybody was upset with him. Now he's an MVP candidate. But look at the players they acquired from KC and 2 from San Francisco, and Waddle looks outstanding. And they can just get you in so many different ways. Never been a Dolphins fan. There's not a team in Miami I care about. But I like watching Miami Dolphins football, and when I'm watching all the different games and I catch all of them, the setup I have at home, we watch everything. I never miss a Miami Dolphins game, and it's the first time in my life it's been that way.
It's amazing what confidence in a quarterback will do. You said it right there. Brian Flores did not like Tua, made it very clear to the public that he wanted a different quarterback. Tua has Mike McDaniels now, who's a very good coach, and they believe in each other. Do you think Tua is a product of his environment, Mario, or do you think he's a good quarterback on his own?
I think he was always a good quarterback on his own. He just kind of needed that right system. So I think it's a mixture of both, right? It's like 50-50 goes in hand. It's really hard to play, especially in the position as quarterback, when the coach does not believe in you, when the coach does not want you there. And then on top of that, there's a bad relationship between the coach and the owner and the GM. And you're like, what's really going on here? So I think it was just a really bad situation that really hurts a good quarterback. And then not to mention the Bo Jackson hip injury. I mean, I don't know the proper term, so I just call it the Bo Jackson hip injury that Tua suffered. It's a long injury. That's hard to come back from. And that's a lot of mental stuff you have to get over. And on top of that, I think, too, what the Dolphins did is they gave him arguably the best receiver in the NFL. It's so hard to honestly just say one now with how much talent there is. But when you say the top 5, Hill's in that. So they did everything they could to make Tua the best he can be. And then now I think we're seeing him get to that ceiling. That being said, Herbert over Tua every single day. Suck it, Dolphins fans. What do you think, Derek?
I think this fits to a T, no pun intended here. But when you look at Tua, what he had at Alabama, right? He was loaded. I mean, he had a great running back, and he had, of course, wide receivers and weapons, all over the place. I mean, this is basically Alabama in Miami with the talent he has. I mean, look how many quarterbacks, if they were in the same situation, would succeed. The thing is, he's making the throws. He's not turning the ball over. Until last week, he was undefeated in games that he had started and finished. I mean, it's a crazy stat. It's the NFL where guys lose all the time. But all of a sudden, he looked like the Tua that he was at Alabama, where, of course, in college, the story is somebody's always open in college. And the pros, nobody's ever open. And that's the difference between an NFL quarterback and a college quarterback. He looks fantastic. It looks like he has not only time to throw, he's making the proper reads. The throws pretty much are on the money, but the weapons. And I'm sure if you talk to Tua, he would tell you the same thing. Man, the weapons I have and who I'm surrounded with have really helped me out in my success. Plus, as you said, Mario, he has a coach that believes in him. And that's big. And again, I will date myself again right here. This is before I was born, believe it or not. But the Green Bay Packers won the first 2 Super Bowls, okay? And Bart Starr, who told Vince Lombardi, look, we will never win until you show some kind of faith in me and you believe in me in front of the team. And if you aren't going to believe in me in front of the team, we have 0 chance of ever winning. And he said, back off. And Lombardi changed the way he talked to him only. And guess what? The Packers became the dynasty they were. There's a reason why that trophy is named after Vince Lombardi. It's because he asked for that. And that was something that seems so basic. Tua could not get that through the general manager and could not get that through the head coach until this year. And that coaching change made all the difference in the world to the Dolphins. Of course, getting Tyreek Hill doesn't hurt either, but that was big for just Tua's confidence in moving forward as an NFL quarterback.
And credit to the Miami Dolphins for getting the targets that best suit his game. If you look back at when Tua was at Alabama, he had 3 starting NFL running backs, right? Brian Robinson, Najee. I had 4 starting NFL running backs: Najee Harris, Brian Robinson, Josh Jacobs, and Damian Harris, right? And how many receivers did he have? He had Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs. We know what happened there. Jalen Waddle, and that might be it. But basically, he had 4 starting NFL receivers, 4 starting NFL running backs. All those guys have one thing in common: they're not big. So the Dolphins did the same thing with their offense. They got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, guys that run underneath routes. Tua doesn't have the crazy strong arm like Justin Herbert does. So you got the players he can throw the slants to, the little out routes, the things that give them the ball in space, and they can go around the defenders. And they've done a great job of that all season.
They really have. And I don't want to give any slight to Brian Flores, too, because I think Brian Flores is an excellent coach, and I'm really waiting for him to have another opportunity in the NFL because, one, I think he can rile up any group of men and get them ready for a little battle on the field.
Real quick, do you think he gets another shot this offseason? And the reason I asked that question, I would have told you when he was let go by the Dolphins that from the outside, I thought it might have been a huge mistake. Like, I thought he was one of the best coaches in the NFL. And then he had to take a defensive coaching job with the Steelers. And the Steelers defense has been obviously a disappointment. They haven't had TJ Watt most of the time, but the Steelers defense have put more money into that defense than any other team in NFL history. And yet the Steelers have struggled. Does Brian Flores get another job right away? How long will it take for him to get another shot? Because I thought it would be almost automatic. Now I'm wondering, are we years away, if ever?
I think he gets another job. I'm not a fan of the way he treated Tua. You can't go after your quarterback like that. I don't like a lot of the coaches that come from Bill Belichick. I think they're a little bit strange. They try to be like Bill when they're not. It just doesn't work that way. I'd be upset, if I was an owner and my coach was talking down on my quarterback. He's like, dude, that's the face of our franchise. You can't be doing that. Brian Flores definitely hurt himself, but he did a good job with the Dolphins regardless. They had like a 7-game winning streak last year. If you're a bad team like the Houston Texans, why not take a chance on somebody like him?
Yeah, I definitely like with the positions coming up. I mean, you have the Colts that will have a vacated position. You could have the Cardinals who had a vacated position. I would say he wouldn't be a bad match for any of those spots. I think what he would do in Arizona could possibly help them in terms of toughen that team up. He does have kind of like that tough attitude where like, hey, it's more smash mouth football. Maybe they could use that. Now him and Kyler Murray will be extremely interesting. And I would want them to do Hard Knocks around 2. Let's just circle back and just keep the camera on him. And I think he would do great with Indianapolis, crazy enough. Just with that defense, I think he would have a real fun time with them and create a strong front. I hope he does. I think he will. I think it'll be, I don't know if it's this cycle, but I could see it maybe in the next 2 years that he comes back around. I mean, I'd argue besides him and Vrabel, only 2 of the Belichick disciples that have really, had success outside of it. I mean, McDaniels had that 6-game win streak, and then we found out he was stealing plays the whole time. So, yeah, those are like the 2 guys that I would say if you had to trust outside of Bill's circle, it'd be 2 guys I would give a shot at.
Speaking of guys and coaching changes as we went in this direction, Denver Broncos are going to be looking for a new coach, right?
Yeah.
Nathaniel Hackett's out. So, most of the time in the NFL or even in college coaching, when you have a guy who's an offensive coach and you aren't doing well, they'll usually go back to a defensive coach and vice versa. But this is the NFL where you're seeing offensive coaches are the ones that they believe are going to have the most success. Russell Wilson had a terrible season. Do the Broncos go and get a defensive coach, or do they go and get an offensive coach for Russell Wilson next year?
Offensive coach. I think you have to. The Broncos defense has been pretty damn good. You got to figure out a way to spread that ball around. Russell Wilson looks like he's never played football. We said that in week 1. For week 14, still the same thing here. Freaking great. Hope they never figure it out. No sympathy whatsoever for anybody in the AFC West. I'm so happy that the Broncos suck.
I'm with you. Seeing him, I want Hackett. Keep him coming, man. Give him one more shot. He needs it. Maybe it's just a warm-up year. And then give him another one after that. Like, don't let him leave the building. When it comes to them, though, like getting a new coach, I think sometimes people fall in love with the narrative too much. Like you need an offensive coach for this quarterback or anything like that. I think you just need the right coach. If you look at the greatest dynasty in all of NFL, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Bill's not, an offensive genius. He's a defensive guy. And then you look at right now the insurgence of the Buffalo Bills. McDermott's a defensive guy. Josh Allen, obviously quarterback. So I think it's sometimes people chase. I feel like that Mahomes, Reed, and Peyton and Breeze, and they chase that so much where I'm like, hey, how about you just find the guy with the great resume and that's perfect for that timing in your organization and not just focus on one side of the football.
Yeah, no, I can understand. That's just kind of curious. I mean, it's always 7 guys at least that lose their job on Black Monday, as they say, right? Right after the last week of the season, 7 guys get fired minimum every single year. And last year at this time, the hot name was Eric Bieniemy, of course. Andy Reid's guy. Eric Bieniemy is going to get a head coaching job, and yet he didn't get an offer. Matter of fact, Eric Bieniemy didn't get the job even at the University of Colorado where he went to school. Deion Sanders got that job. So you wonder, what is the talk on Eric Bieniemy, a guy that was the hottest name in football for the last few years? So all of a sudden, a guy whose name never comes up. Is it all because Andy Reid is that great of a coach and has his hands on so many things that people inside the NFL believe Eric Bieniemy is basically a figurehead, or is he a guy that should get a shot in the NFL as head coach?
There's something going on with Eric Bieniemy that we don't know. We saw a little bit of it with Patrick Mahomes, where they were getting into an argument. It's also been said that Eric Bieniemy is just the face of the offense. It's really Andy Reid that's doing everything behind the scenes. He's just the guy that's in like the sitting position. So it's really interesting there. It's really strange. You think Eric Bieniemy for sure would have a job by now with how the Chiefs have looked the last like 5 seasons. They're absolute juggernaut. But there's something going on that we probably just don't know about.
Broncos, by any chance, would they have interest in Eric Bieniemy?
Why not? I mean, I'm trying to think of who the best candidates are out there besides Sean Payton.
I mean, what would hurt the division the most as far as the Chiefs go? Taking Andy Reid's right-hand guy and bringing him to the Denver Broncos.
That's my question back to you, though. How much does Eric Bieniemy actually have to do with the offense? It's something we
I don't think he does.
know. Yeah, I don't think he does either. That's why he hasn't gotten a job. They're also saying the 49ers, DeMeco Ryans is the coach that everybody wants. And he's a defensive guy. So I don't know where he ends up. It's really interesting.
I mean, I feel like every time there's coaching hiring, that's like who has a hot staff, like Reed, it was with Doug Pearson, Matt Nagy. And then now I think it went to McVay for a little bit with O'Connell and Staley. And then now I think it's Shanahan. So I think like I blanked on the name that you just said, Josh, but I think that's going to be a key staff to watch. It's just the Niners and defense coordinator leaving or OC leaving, just because it's, McDaniels is looking really good. And I have a theory. I have a really weird theory that when it comes to that stuff, it's just like takes one bad apple and then they're like, hey, let's pause on that coaching tree. You know what I'm saying? Matt Nagy did the most horrendous coaching job in 1 year that arguably you would ever see. And that was like, all right, let's pause on the Andy Reid tree for a little bit. And then you have, I'm not going to, we've ripped on him a little bit this year with, and he comes from the McVay coaching tree. And then, maybe guys are going, hey, let's pause on the McVay coaching tree as of now. And then, we have Shanahan. So maybe until he runs dry. So this is it's conspiracy theory. I didn't say it was a good one.
It's funny. I was thinking more and more as we're talking about offensive and defensive coaches. Last week, the Bengals played extremely well. They knocked off the Chiefs. Hardly anybody that beats the Chiefs, right? And you're looking at a defensive coach there. Another guy that was a McVay guy as well. But you're looking at the Bengals. Last year they put this crazy run together. They put a postseason together for the ages. They almost finished it off by winning the Super Bowl. But they knocked off all the big teams that you had to beat. And then they were in the Super Bowl, and then they started off the season 0-2, and it was like, oh man, the Bengals have lost it. They don't have what they used to have. They're gonna have the disappointing season what the Rams are going through right now. Well, not the case. All of a sudden, they look like one of the better teams in the league. I do believe a head coach is important, and people have said to us about even Brandon Staley on this show, you guys are too tough on Staley. Well, we have the argument back that we expected more from the talent. And go, well, the team's injured. I mean, we've had people inside the Charger organization say, give us a break on Staley. You guys are too tough on Staley. So the Chargers are going to be in a situation too. Offense, defense, what direction do you go? Do you go somewhere if they make a move? Is it to put Herbert in the same situation Tua is in now? And I don't think it's too early to even ask that question. Do you say, look at what the Dolphins have done, and we believe our quarterback is better than Tua, as you said, Mario, right at the beginning of the show. Do the Chargers go in a direction of saying we got to do something to support Justin Herbert?
Absolutely. I saw a video on Twitter that Mario reposted where they reviewed 3 third-down plays in the fourth quarter of the last game, and every route the receivers ran were the most simplistic routes you could imagine. They're easy to cover. There's no creativity whatsoever within the offense, and you're thinking Justin Herbert is literally playing at a deficit compared to these other quarterbacks. He has no way of winning these routes. He has no blocking. He has a coach that doesn't know when to go for it in fourth down situations. You need to get this guy some help in any way possible. There's an obvious trend in the NFL of getting young coaches. Well, we have a young coach that's a defensive mind, and it doesn't do anything for us because we have a team that's led by a quarterback that's revolutionary. You need to bring an offensive mind that can help them in some way, I think, because Joe Lombardi's just not cutting it at this point.
I completely agree. I think this is going to be a weekend where this is a wake up for Tom. It's going to be literally right in front of you of how you handle a very good young quarterback. Tua was in a tough situation like we've already talked about. And you just see the right coach with him, with the right weapons, is insane. You're set up for success, not only in 1 year, but in many years to come. And they're also in a pretty tough division, like we are too. It is literally going to be right in front of your face. Just take some notes about it. Just notice kind of like the difference between the Dolphins system and the Chargers system. And we've already said this on the show. It's going to be a really hard game for the Chargers. It's going to be a very, very tough game. They're outmatched in this. It's no secret to that at all. So I think when you watch this game, and I pray that anyone in that Chargers front office goes, okay, this is an organization that's obviously ahead of us right now. We need to figure out how to get in that position. And I don't know, take a page from your old neighbor, the San Diego Padres, who just signs like 3 $200 million shortstops. I don't know. I don't understand baseball much to tell you why I do that. But they got stars right now, and they're going to compete with Dave's favorite, the little Dodgers.
So, all right, here I'm going to ask you about the Dolphins defense against Justin Herbert, because we all talked about this before. This is a competition between these two guys, from Herbert and Tua. And you look at the Dolphins and what they've done against the top quarterbacks in the NFL. They've seen some really good ones this year. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins is good unless he's in prime time. And even Justin Fields had success. Can Justin Herbert have success against this Dolphins defense like the other guys have?
It all depends on his offensive line. Nobody can have success if you have no time to throw the ball. We talked about it last show. Melvin Ingram, Bradley Chubb. They have other guys, Raekwon Davis, other guys on the defensive line that get after the quarterback. If Justin Herbert has a little bit of time, we have a chance. But if it's like the last game where it's a revolving door, we have no shot whatsoever.
It's going to be really hard. And you have a guy named Xavier Howard in the secondary that's going to make it a little bit more difficult too. Statistically, they're not like a defense that's crazy great. I mean, they're ninth against the run, so that means we're going to have like 25 yards on the ground. And Herbert's going to throw it 60 times. But they're not like a great team against the pass either. They're 21st against the pass. And like you said, like they played top quarterbacks and they've exposed them. You know, Josh Allen threw for 400 yards against them and 2 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson threw for 318. Kirk Cousins threw for 2 touchdowns. Burrow threw for 287 and 2 touchdowns. Like, good quarterbacks be able to expose them. But if Herbert doesn't have any time, if he has Chubb in his face the whole time, then they're going to be in big, big trouble. But I think that just looking at the talent that has been able to cause a lot of havoc for the Dolphins, I think Herbert's on that level and can definitely do that in this game. Like if you see, I'm going gambling, but if you literally see like a 270 yards over under, smash that so hard. Just punch it right. Really smack your phone and go, that is the easiest bet of all time. I'm hammering that. Anything less than 290, you're an idiot if you don't take. I think Herbert's going to have a lot of yards. I really do. I think he's going to throw for quadrillion yards because only going to be the way we're going to be able to move the ball downfield. But I don't know if it's going to be enough still.
Let me ask you, passing attempts, all right, as you go with the gambling aspect right there. Passing attempts, what do you think Joe Burrow's number's at on Sunday? I mean, not Joe Burrow, I'm sorry, Justin Herbert. Sorry, I'm looking at Joe Burrow's numbers. Because I'm looking at, here's the deal. I'll throw these at you. This is what other quarterbacks did against the Dolphins. Lamar Jackson threw 29 times. Josh Allen threw 63 times. Joe Burrow 31 times. Kirk Cousins 30 times. Justin Fields even threw 28 times. Like, what do you think the over-under is on Justin Herbert, how many passing attempts he has?
Does Mario have the answer?
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, my guess is going to be 38 passing attempts. I think he throws in the 40s for sure.
Dude, I'm willing to say 50.
You think so? That many?
Because of the stat that Mario just threw at you, that you can't really run against the Dolphins. You know, their defense is good against the run. Yeah. If these guys can't do it, we can't do it, right? I mean, who are we kidding? That I think, honestly, the plan of attack is either who are we kidding? The plan of attack is going to be short passes. It's what we do against every team. But it's going to be, I think, honestly, it's like 50 attempts. I think you're going to see at least 50 attempts from Herbert, which sounds crazy, but that's what I think the Chargers are going to do. I'm not saying Eckler's out of the game, but I don't think the Chargers are going into this game saying we have to establish the run. Not in this game.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Mario. Or sorry, before you answer, Mario, I'll go back to Dave. Who leads the team in targets on Sunday?
Ooh, that's great.
I'm going Austin Eckler, dude. Austin Eckler has like 15 targets. A lot.
I like that call a lot. I like that call. I think Austin Eckler is going to catch a ton. They're going to go act like it's easy. You're right. They're going to put pressure on Herbert. And I think out of those 15, 13 of them will be behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, of course. You already know that. Yeah.
Did you find that attempt? Yeah, the touchdowns. Did you find the number on attempts for that game?
So right now it's not available. They only have Tua's. Tua's is 35.5. So if they're putting Tua's that high, dude, I'm thinking that it's gonna be probably
50.
give or take, yeah, like 40. I imagine 50s, high 40s, like around there. I would take it literally anything. If it's in the 40s, I would smack it. Like literally smack it like I'm trying to make my nephew behave. Like it's like I would all over it. Like I think he's gonna throw the ball. Like Josh Allen threw 63 times against the Dolphins. I think it's gonna be like that. I think it's his arm's gonna hurt. He's gonna need an ice pack on his arm after the game.
See, this is my question about Tua throwing it 35 times. I feel like they could just run it so many times. You wouldn't have to throw it 35 times.
Yeah, I'm with you. But I'm thinking if that number's at 35, as we say all the time, and Vegas isn't in the business of losing money. If he's at 35, and we know the Chargers stink against the run, right? Then what is Herbert's number? That's why I think Herbert's number is going to be huge.
It's something to keep an eye on. I'm interested in that bet for sure. It's a good call.
Especially with Tyreek Hill, how much he's dominated us in the past. I mean, they're going to let him
don't even start.
Yeah, don't even start there.
Let's go back to talking about that 80. Let's go back to talking about that 82 Dolphins game. I don't want to talk about Tyreek Hill. I was at Tyreek Hill's first game in the NFL, and I can't remember who the punter was on the Chargers, and he for some reason he decided I'm just going to kick the hell out of this thing, and outkick the coverage, and Tyreek Hill just grabs it and just runs it all the way back, and I'm like, what are we doing? And right away you knew who Tyreek Hill was. He was so fast and just unbelievable in everything he did. They couldn't stop him when he was with the Chiefs, and you sit there and you're going, were the Chargers just not aware of anything? And the Chargers cut the punter right after that game. It was like, we're done. Yeah, we literally cut the guy because he was one of those like, I'm going to show you guys how strong my leg is. It doesn't matter if my team can get down there or not to tackle him. It was the Tyreek Hill show. It was ridiculous. I don't want to talk about him.
Is this game a must win for both teams?
Definitely must win for the Chargers.
Yeah, I think it might be a must win for the Dolphins as well, dude. They're right there with the Jets. They dropped down 4 spots in the playoff picture from, I think they were like 2nd to 6th, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're right there with 3 teams in their division. I feel like they really need to win their games too.
It's a perfect get right spot for him. You know, like we just played a very hard defense. We lost to a 3rd string rookie quarterback whose nickname is Mr. Irrelevant. Like they went into film Monday, pissed off, going, we're a better team than this. Who do we have this week? A defense that can't stop the pass, can't stop the run. Perfect. Let's get right in this game. Let's use this moment to really set ourselves apart from every other team in the league. It's a huge must win. I mean, ever since the Chargers, I think it was, I got to find it. Their loss to the Niners, funny enough, same as the Dolphins, 22-16, that dropped them out of the playoff spot. That dropped them right outside, right behind the Patriots, now waiting to get in. You know, they're doing it in the Hunt graphic. That's where their Chargers are. So it's definitely, I would say, a must-win for both teams.
Yeah, isn't it funny how the NFL, even though it's a short schedule, and we kind of had an idea looking at the playoff picture and what we thought was going to happen just a few weeks ago, that all of a sudden last week shook up a lot of things, right? The Dolphins lose to the Niners. All of a sudden, we're talking about the Dolphins needing a must-win. Even the Tennessee Titans in a terrible division, you're looking at them and going, man, they can't afford to fall to 7-6. Like these games all matter at the end of the season to see how this playoff picture is going to shape up. It's what makes the league absolutely fantastic. But for the Chargers, man, they're on such a tight leash, and that they got to really make sure that they're getting these wins. I know they have to steal a couple of them. Most experts are picking the Dolphins to win this game, but this is one of those Chargers. If you're worth anything, you got to try and steal this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Mario, do you want to talk about your players to watch on offense and defense?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to copy myself like I did last week. Mac, you were a huge disappointment. Like, let's just call it what it is. Huge disappointment against the Raiders. That was nothing what we'd expect. We thought we'd see from him. He's got to be on top of his game. come Sunday. Dolphins line's a little banged up. From what we've seen to it this year, he's not the most mobile guy. He doesn't really handle pressure that great. You need to be in his face all day in his kitchen. You can't give him time to see Hill and Waddle set up the routes, get downfield. You can't have him set up time for that. You got to get to him. Hit him hard, hit him often. Max my guy for defense. For offense, boy, I'm going as basic as it comes. So basic, but it's Herbert. You got it is your moment to shut everybody up. It is your moment on Sunday Night Football to really show everyone that Tua is not better than you. It is your moment. It is that time. You're obviously better looking than him. You got better hair than him. You just got to play better than him when it comes to Sunday Night Football. So those are my two guys. I went with the obvious guy for Herbert. And then I can predict Dave's is going to be like Derwin James. And then
I told you guys I won't pick Derwin James the rest of the year. You guys give me a hard time. I will not go Derwin James. I'm not going to go my pick to click on this one. I'm going to go the most important guy on the defense in this one. Okay. If this guy literally can drive home and not feel bad about himself at the end of the game, Chargers won this game. It's Asante Samuel Jr. They're going to target the hell out of him. They're going to go after him like crazy. And you mentioned it 2 days ago, Josh, that his numbers aren't great. His numbers aren't as good as what we thought they'd be this season. And I think if he has a good game on Sunday, Chargers win this game. If it's one of those where you're like, oh my God, how's this guy in the NFL games? We're in trouble, right? Chargers are going to lose this game. So I think the most important guy on the defensive side of the ball is going to be Asante Samuel Jr. It sounds crazy to say.
No, that's a great call. Okay. He's probably the most important guy in the whole game besides Justin Herbert. I'd agree with you.
Because that's if you're the Dolphins, that's who you're picking on, correct? That's who, if you're looking at tape, you're like going after that guy right there. And then get the offensive side. I don't want to steal your guy. You're going to say Austin Eckler? I'm not going to go your guy if you're going.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Okay, then I'll go Austin Eckler on offense. Will be my guy.
Okay. How many rushing yards does he have?
3. And he ends up honest to God, I think 20. He doesn't end up with a lot of rushing yards. I honestly, he doesn't end up with a lot. But I think you're right. He's absolutely targeted at least 15 times.
How many attempts?
Ooh,
rushing attempts.
9.
9?
Yeah, 9's a good number. 9's a good number. I'll go less than 10.
9.
Less than 10. Yeah, that's sad. All right, offense. I'm gonna go Gerald Everett. Mario sends us the little stats for every game. They're one of the worst teams in the red zone. I think 28th in red zone defense. I like the big body in the red zone. Throw that thing up. Gerald Everett. Hopefully he has a touchdown. And then on defense, I'm going 2 guys that are questionable. So hopefully at least one of them plays. Sebastian Joseph Day. He's been the most reliable guy on the D-line for a bad D-line. If he doesn't play, it's just going to be a long day. If he does, hopefully he makes a little bit of a difference. And then I'm going to go Bryce Callahan if he doesn't play. Bryce Callahan is also questionable. They're going to be throwing the ball, to those, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Maybe he comes up with another pick. So those are my 2 guys on defense. Score prediction. Dude, here we go. Calling a tie. All right. You weren't expecting that. 31-31 tie. Yep.
The game ends in a tie.
Game ends in a tie.
Wow. This guy goes to Vegas and bets on green. Look at you.
Yeah. Calling a tie.
That'd be a nightmare.
Sunday night football tie
for outlets.
Yeah, an absolute nightmare. Nightmare, excuse me. Sunday night football tie, dude. Just going to bed feeling weird.
Yeah. With your sister.
Yeah, exactly. What do you got?
You got to go Mario first? Go ahead.
You can go first, Dave.
All right,
I want to simmer on mine a little bit.
You got it. Okay, so Josh said something that we don't even touch on this show. We talk 3 times a week. So Sebastian Joseph Day, all right, is one of those guys. If you watch these Charger games every single week, and as a fan, this is one of the things in every sport I watch, you want it to matter. Like we were talking off there about, whether it's LeBron or AD that never seems to sit out and doesn't seem to care. He cares every single game. Like, I don't know if there's a guy on the team, maybe him and Tranquil, but like you could tell this means everything to him. Like if this guy had Hall of Fame talent, he'd be the best player in the league. You could tell he's getting everything he can out of his body. He's doing everything he possibly can. He's not an all-pro player. I'm not saying he's an elite player, and I think he knows he's not an elite player. But, man, he does not cheat himself, the fans, the organization with everything he has. And he might be a guy that could be out of the league in a year. That's all I know. He has a captaincy on his jersey. Means that his teammates think a lot about him. We never talk about him, but, man, does that guy give you everything he possibly can. And for someone who buys a ticket, who spends time every week watching this team compete, how can you not be a fan of Sebastian Joseph Day?
Super Bowl champ, right? Last year on the Rams. Lunch pail guy.
He is. He's a lunch pail guy.
Yeah.
I honestly, God, he's one of my favorite guys. What jersey number is he? I'm getting it.
69.
I'm getting it. Well,
Just 'cause he's 69.
That's
Yeah.
my co-ed softball jersey I wear on Wednesday nights. I'm just kidding. There's always that one jerk. You ever notice that one guy in horrible shape who wears number 69 in the softball games? You're like, look at this jerk. Thinks he's big. He's pulling girls
fat.
tonight. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
complete
always
mess.
fat.
Train wreck. Drinking beers
What's
in the
your-
parking lot.
Yeah.
What's your score prediction?
Score prediction's going to be high. I'm going really high. I'm going 45-37, but I'm going in favor of the Dolphins.
45-37.
It is sad. I'm sad.
Yeah, you are.
I've been sad. I've been sad half the season.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Brandon.
What do you got, Mario?
All right. I have 2 scores. Based off
We
injuries.
play a doubleheader?
Based
Okay.
off injuries, yes. Based off injuries. This relates to a gambling pick as well. Sadly, I'm not a fan of it. I got Dolphins at -3, and it's 3.5 right now, so that would stay away. But if you have Dolphins -3 anywhere, I would take it because I think Chargers lose this game without Mike Williams. 35-24 Dolphins. I think that's the final score of the game. I think we give a little bit. This is exactly how it's going to go. It's going to be neck and neck, battle back and forth. They punch us, we punch them. Third quarter is going to hit. Tua is going to put up 2 TDs. We have 0.
Yeah, of course.
And then fourth quarter, we chase. So I think that's going to happen without Mike Williams, 35-24. With Mike Williams, I think it's a 3-point bump our way, 35-27. Chargers still lose.
What's the What's the over-under in this game? What are the odds? What's the over-under?
It's 52.
See, man, they're thinking it's high too. Yeah, they're thinking high. Which is great.
And all of us have the over.
Yeah, I think it'll be a high-scoring game.
Yeah,
come on, look at our defense. Look at their defense. It's going to be a high-scoring game.
Yeah, Mario, do you want to touch on our bets from last week?
Yeah. So if you tailed some of us, you had an average day. If you tailed one of us, you probably unsubscribed to the pod. And I get you. I understand. But I think you should resubscribe because when you're cold, you're due. Okay. Spring comes after winter. So it's coming. I went 6-8-1. Josh, you went 7-7-1. So not fairly. That's all you can pray for. 50%. That's freaking great. Dave.
Yeah, I knew I was a disaster.
The people are asking, has the dementia kicked in?
You know what?
You went.
It was my idea to do this too. That's what sucks. Remember, I'm the guy that said, forget the straight up stuff. We're picking games with the spread. You can't walk into a casino and pick straight up on a regular basis. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. How bad was it?
3-11-1.
It's a miracle. I got 3. Jeez. It's a miracle. All right. I'm going to bounce back this week.
Yeah. You'll bounce back.
All right. Go ahead. I'll go first. Fill the games out.
All right. I can do it. All right. You got tonight. You got the Raiders and the Rams. Raiders are -6.5.
Wow, that's pretty on the road too. It's a lock. Raiders covered that game.
All right. Eagles.
By the
Giants.
way, when you watch that game tonight, watch how much black is in SoFi. It's the Raiders' first time there when they're playing the Rams. Okay, so this was the big deal. If anybody remembers how this worked out, if the Chargers didn't go to LA, that the Raiders were going to be the team that got to go to LA. But Stan Kroenke did not want the Raiders in LA. He knew the Raider fan base would take over that city. And Stan Kroenke's like, I got to move this team from St. Louis to Los Angeles to have the Raiders as the number 1 team. And that's why it was important for him that if I have to take a team, it has to be the Chargers. So this is the chance right here for Ram fans to go, oh my gosh, Raider Nation is all over the place. And they will be.
Yeah, it's going to look like an emo concert tonight. All right, you got the Eagles and the Giants. Eagles are -7.
I'm going Eagles. I think the Giants look terrible, and I think the Eagles are firing.
Jets and Bills. Bills are favored by 10.
Oh, that's high. Where's the game at? I'm going Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Has to be in Buffalo. All right, I'm going Bills. I'm going 3 in a row that the team will cover.
You got Browns and Bengals. Bengals are favored by 5.5.
Okay, going Bengals again. How about that? Going Joe Burrow. Not sold in Deshaun Watson. Looked rusty as hell last week against the Texans.
All right, got the Vikings and the Lions. Lions are favored by 2.
No way. Look at
Yeah.
that. Has the world fallen off its axis? I'm guessing that game is in Detroit. Lions are playing great. I mean, it looks like their head coach is going to keep his job, right? They don't need to take the grid off the walls. I tell you, I'm going to go Vikes, though. I'm going to go Vikes.
All right, what's the biggest difference, like the biggest spread we've had this year in a game? Do you guys remember?
There was one that was like 16 recently. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
listen to
those
this.
Rams.
Yeah, listen to this. Okay, you got the Texans and the Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 17.5.
Ooh. I tell you what, I'm thinking that's high. I'm going Texans.
All right.
That's just
Ravens,
crazy. It's NFL
yeah.
football. What are we doing here?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Texans are barely NFL football. Ravens and Steelers. Steelers are favored by 2.
Go. Oh shoot, we don't. Lamar Jackson, is he playing?
No.
I don't think so. No.
Oh,
He's not
I'm
playing.
going Steelers.
All right. Jaguars and Titans. Titans are favored by 4.
Titans bounce back. Disappointing game last week. Extremely disappointing. Mike Vrabel got what he wanted. Titans, obviously their general manager got fired. You could tell the head coach, the GM hated each other. And when they asked Mike Vrabel about it, he said, "Hey, we got a game this Sunday. Happens." Like he completely didn't care. Like I hated that guy's guts in the beginning. It wasn't for him. We still have AJ Brown. So hey, he has to prove his point that the wicked witch is dead. And watch this. We're going to stick it to the Jags.
Did
like
you
that.
guys see that real quick? Did you guys see that video of when they traded AJ Brown on draft day, and it's a camera in the room, and you see Vrabel stand up? He looked like he was gonna punch the wall.
Yeah,
He was so pissed. Yeah, he was pissed off.
You got the Chiefs and the Broncos. Chiefs are favored by 9.
Chiefs are favored by 9, and I'm going to go Chiefs. I don't think the Broncos could score 9.
That's a good call. Panthers at the Seahawks. Seahawks are favored by 4.5.
Okay, Seahawks start to look like the Seahawks. I go Seahawks.
Buccaneers and 49ers. 49ers are favored by 3.5.
Yeah, they could be favored by 30. I picked the 49ers. The Buccaneers are not a good team.
Dolphins and Chargers. Dolphins are favored by 3.
I take the Dolphins in that one too, sad to say.
Yeah. Patriots
There
and
you go.
Cardinals. Patriots are favored by 2.
Patriots are favored by 2, and I'm guessing that game's in New England. I'm going to go Cardinals.
I think the game's in Arizona.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
in Arizona.
Oh, wow. I'm going Cardinals.
All right. Mario, start from the top.
I'm bouncing
Go.
back, guys.
Raiders and Rams. Raiders minus 6.5.
Jeez, it's Raiders minus 6.5. But Raider Nation, you guys are really annoying and not that sick. You guys look like a bunch of emo losers.
Eagles and Giants. Eagles are favored by 7.
Eagles, because Saquon Barkley's not the healthiest right now. There's a report they didn't practice today.
Jets and Bills. Bills are favored by 10.
Jets,
Ooh.
Dave. It's Jets plus 10.
Okay.
Come on.
All right.
Browns at the Bengals. Bengals are favored by 5.5.
Fade the scumbag. Bengals still minus 5.5.
Yeah, Groper Cleveland. Not a fan. Vikings at Lions. Lions are favored by 2.
Okay, I'm not a Kirk Cousins guy either. But like, yeah, the chains. It's like, dude, you probably grew up in such a suburban place. Yeah, but it's the Lions, and it's the Lions. Everyone, take a chill pill. Still, with Calvin Johnson couldn't win. Vikings plus 2.5. He's 8-2 against the freaking Lions. Wake up.
Wake up. Texans at the Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 17.5.
Give me the boys.
Really? You think you get the boys' best effort against the Texans? I think they're going to half-ass it.
Battle of Texas.
Yes.
Battle of Texas. I think Texans are going back to Davis Mills. That's a lot of mind games. Put 2 quarterbacks playing against that defense. I mean, Parsons was going off on Twitter today about political stuff. So maybe hashtag not on football, but I would still take the Cowboys.
Yep. Ravens at Steelers. Steelers favored by 2.
This one's, I hate this one. Fine. This is like the tale of 2 old defenses. Just give me Steelers -2 and don't make me watch.
Jaguars, Titans. Titans are favored by 4.
Titans.
Chiefs and Broncos. Chiefs are favored by 9.
So I weirdly think Broncos defense will give them like a really, really tough day, and it'll be like a weird low scoring game. So I'm going to take Broncos to cover +9 because I think that's a little too much.
Panthers at Seahawks. Seahawks 4.5.
Red zone, block this game. Seahawks.
Buccaneers and 49ers. 49ers favored by 3.5.
No. Tommy boy, don't let me down. I'm going to go Bucks. Tom, do not let me down. Do not let me down.
Dolphins, Chargers. Dolphins favored by 3.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
Dolphins.
yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
Then Monday Night Football, you got Patriots and Cardinals. Patriots favored by 2.
I'm literally going to throw as much money in my bank account on the Pats on this game, by the way. That's
Really?
the dumbest
On the
line
road?
of all time. Yeah,
On the road?
I have.
Okay.
I feel really good about that. I have so little faith in the Cardinals.
Is Marquise Brown back? Does that make a difference?
Let me double check that. I mean,
I think that's something. I think if he's back.
And that game's in Arizona, correct?
Yeah, it is.
You guys keep saying?
Correct. Yeah, it is.
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah.
Patriots had that miracle in that same stadium. That's
Yeah.
had the
All
David Tyree play in that same stadium.
That is true. All right. You ready for my picks?
Let's go.
All right.
Let's ride.
All right. You ready for this, Mario?
That's
Give
right.
me the opposite of everything Dave picked. Those are my
Oh, dude, you see what he just did there? Ah,
picks. Those
The
are my picks.
handcuff. Handcuff.
The opposite.
All
That's how
right.
confident I am. That's how confident I am. Give me the opposite.
Wait,
you saying I'm the jinx?
The
I'm
opposite of
Slepper.
everything?
Every single thing you picked. I want the
Okay.
opposite.
Everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here. And yeah, I know
that
I'm
hurts.
sorry. I'm sorry. Here's one thing we have to say before the show ends. Okay.
Okay.
Somebody give me a decent reason why there's 6 teams on bye week in week 14. Somebody give me an answer
Yeah.
of how that makes any sense whatsoever. What are we doing? Fantasy football implications on the line. Playoffs on the line. You give 16 bye weeks? Who's doing the schedule here? Come on, buddy. Let's figure this out.
It's so annoying. And for someone that has to do a Sunday pregame show, you're making life a lot harder for me. That's a lot less content I can do with that day. So you can shove it a little bit. Okay, I also have a proposition for you guys. If I keep track of this record, we should have little prizes for the biggest winner, and most importantly, a something for last place. Someone in last place should have to do something. Something very stupid.
Before, when we were picking straight up, if you got a perfect score, right? Didn't the guy get an authentic jersey of his favorite player?
Yeah.
Okay. And we said if a guy, if somebody didn't win, then basically whatever. So okay, you guys decide. What's the prize? What's the penalty?
You were telling me earlier you wanted holiday mittens. Is that still what you want?
That's true. I like mittens. I'm a big fan of the mittens because you could give people the finger and they can't see it. What's wrong with you?
Wait.
I don't need mittens. I live in San Diego. Jeez.
I don't know what I want. There's a lot of things I want. Yeah.
All right,
we'll workshop it.
We'll
this.
get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Maybe Dave has to cheer on the Padres for a whole season.
That will never happen.
That
will never happen. That will never happen.
Josh has to wear a Georgia jersey every show.
Never happen.
Yeah, that'll never happen either. Better than Tennessee. I'd rather wear Georgia than Tennessee, Auburn, and LSU. I will tell you that.
Really?
Can't stand those, dude. We could talk about this off the air. Tennessee has the worst fans in the world. The worst. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh my gosh! What would hurt?
Wait, who's the
Mario?
Yeah, who's the tie of the week, Mario? You didn't say it.
Oh, that was just Washington. Washington and the Giants tied, and we all had Washington, and I wasn't gonna just count that as a miss. I was like, that's just gonna be a void.
No, this upcoming week. What's your tie?
Oh, the tie. Oh, shoot, I didn't.
Steelers Ravens.
Yeah, Steelers Ravens. That's a good one. You like that? It's ugly. I'm not gonna tell you what to pick. You pick.
So that will be in the running. Vrabel wouldn't do a tie. How about this? It would be so stupid and have so many weird things happen that it would make it's almost so stupid it would make sense. Vikings Lions tie.
I like
Wow.
that.
Yeah,
I
Dan
like that.
Campbell and Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Come kiss at midfield. Tie.
That's a lot of grit right there. Tons of
There's
grit.
lot of grit. Yeah.
A lot of grit. That's funny. All right. We'll be back Sunday after the show. We'll have everything down. Hopefully, it's good news. The Chargers have not done well in these primetime games. It's time to turn things around. They're due. Okay. So hopefully, Sunday after the show, we're talking about a big Charger win. They definitely need it. And at the same time, let's root for some points in the third quarter. Just something, for the Chargers in the third quarter. Make a difference, right? Absolutely. All right, we'll get on out of here. We'll see you guys in a couple of days. Again, for Josh Palet and Mario Herron, I'm Dave Palet. Thanks again for listening to the Bolt City podcast, courtesy of Odyssey.